about Rembrandt watercolor paint. It's extra fine artist quality watercolor paint. It's by Talens, a Dutch factory, and this is, you know, our national artist brand. Although we have another, you know, this very small country has 2 good paint factories. So, but this is the first artist quality that I want to talk to you about. They come in tubes, and look at the size of the tubes. They are so tiny. I want to show you something funny. This tube is actually smaller than the price tag on the back. This is only 5 milliliters, and there is no price on this, but they set you back quite a lot. These are expensive. Artist quality paint is very expensive because it contains pigments, and not every pigment is as expensive as the other. When you start buying artist quality, you need to know a lot about the pigments that you buy. Because, you know, one pigment will, you know, smoothen out to a beautiful film onto the paper, and it will contain no stains. But there are paints that will stain a lot, you know. The pigment particles, they will sink down into the paper immediately, and they will, yeah, I don't know, but give this sort of powdery effect. And it really depends on what you want. So the more advanced you get, the more you will know about the pigments that you're using. So I do not recommend buying artist quality if you're starting out with watercolors. In the first place, it's not necessary. If you want to work with light, fast paints, then studio quality is good, because studio quality pigments are especially chosen for multi-purpose use, so they have to be good for anything. So the pigments in there are usually pretty light, fast, and are very well mixable. All the colors you can mix with the other colors in the same set. When you move up to another quality, then usually you do that because you want specific colors that you don't get in the cheaper brands, or you want that sort of puddly effect that some colors can give, or the powdery effect. So when you get more demanding, when you try to get certain effects, then you will learn that some pigments work better with other pigments. Well, you can also, when you move up to this quality, I feel it's a good idea. Usually I recommend people to buy just a few colors. You can always do that. You can start out with studio quality, fill up an empty palette like this one, the Reese palette, which was only €2.95, super cheap. You know, I've got these really expensive paints in here as well. So this is the Cotman. Oh no, there is some Schminke here as well, I see. There's some Winsor & Newton. You can mix them, you know, no problem. You can, of course, buy a couple of artist paints that you really like for the color. But if you decide to move up to artist quality as a whole, then I recommend you buy a start set. This is a very expensive one. The prices, I think, if you buy a set of 24 in studio quality, will be about €40, 35 to €40. This contains more paint, I think about 40 colors, but I added a few pens, so, but this one is €225. So that's a lot. It's a lot cheaper than when you buy them a piece, because then it's more expensive, because these pans they're just as small as the other ones, but they will cost you a lot more. I don't know exactly how much more, but I have these pans that cost €8.65 per pan. So that's bad news for your wallet, you know. So you gotta really want this, and you gotta really know what colors you want to use. If you want to move up to artist quality as a whole, buy a starting kit, because in a starting kit you will find colors that interact beautifully with each other. You know, they think about those things when they compose a box like that. I also always make these color charts. This is the original color chart. These are the colors that were in there. And I don't know if you can see that because my stupid camera keeps changing the white balance. See, it goes blue every time. What if I do this? No. See how bright it is? This is what artist quality is about. The brightness of the pigments. It's beautiful. And all of these colors, they hold really well. This is a second chart I made because what I did, I also inserted Winsor & Newton. They have this pink. It doesn't show on camera how pink it is, but this is almost neon pink. It's beautiful. It's Winsor & Newton 448, if you should like to know. There is also a yellow green here. That's gorgeous. I use it a lot. You know, actually this is now almost a full pan, but this has been renewed about 4 times. And here is beautiful and romantic lilac. No other factory makes the lilac. Lilac is very difficult. Lilacs, pinks, and some reds are very difficult because, you know, light fastness is a disaster with those things, but with those colors. But sometimes, you know, I just want to paint and then I quickly scan it and then, okay, so if the color fades, then so be it. But I also have a color chart like this where I write down the full names. I always do that because when you move up to artist quality, I feel you need to get to know your paint. You need to know what colors are in there. You need to start getting interested in the pigments that you're using. Schminky has this. I'm going to show it in the Schminky review. Schminky has this color chart with very detailed information about the pigments that are in there and how they behave, and something you really need to know. There is, in this, where I live in Netherlands, there are 3 big brands. There are a couple of smaller brands, but there are 3 big brands that have good artist quality. It's the Rembrandt, it's the Winsor & Newton Artists, and it's the Schminky Hoordam. They are all equally good. They're you know, there is no difference in quality. They are all good. There is a difference in how they behave. Winsor & Newton, in the pans, they need a little more working with the paint in the pans. It's a little bit harder than the Rembrandt. The Rembrandt, I think, is medium hard, and Schminky is a little bit like paste. So when you put a wet brush on top of that, you immediately have a lot of color. That is what Schminky is all about. Winsor & Newton has these really beautiful, vibrant colors, and Rembrandt is just simply very good. They all have beautiful color charts. So if you go see them, they have so many colors to choose from. That's just really, you know, you really got to watch your wallet when you're drooling over a color chart there. So, but Rembrandt is really absolutely very good. And I believe that I can use it for anything I would like to do with watercolor. It's wonderful. So if you were thinking of buying this, I can only applaud and say go ahead and enjoy it. Do you need it when you start painting with watercolor or for art journaling? Definitely not. I don't use this for my art journal. I use this box only for art that might end up on a wall somewhere. So for my fine art, it is simply too expensive to fool around with. 225 euros, remember? So have fun deciding, and good luck. Thank you for watching. Bye.